In this video, we will describe the type and quantity of fish pregnant women and moms who are breastfeeding can eat, and which ones to avoid in order to prevent mercury poisoning of babies in the womb and babies who are breastfeeding. So, why is this important? Why should you care? This is important because mothers can acquire methylmercury, which is an organic form of mercury from eating fish, and transfer this methylmercury to a baby in the womb through the placental cord, and to a nursing baby through breastfeeding. Methylmercury is a neurotoxin that is a chemical that attacks brain cells and spinal cord tissue. Babies in the womb, infants, and children whose nervous systems are still developing are more vulnerable to the toxic effects of methylmercury. Depending on the level of prenatal exposure to methylmercury, the toxic effects could range from a form of cerebral palsy, blindness, seizures on one extreme, to delays in neural and cognitive defects such as poor memory and reduced attention span after birth. For these reasons, it is essential to prevent this form of mercury toxicity by carefully monitoring the type and quantity of fish that is consumed during pregnancy and breastfeeding. We shall now examine the types of fish that are safe for pregnant women and mothers who are breastfeeding to eat. But first, I must specify that while I am called Dr. UD, I am not a medical doctor. I'm an educator and a science communicator. To get medical advice, please consult a medical practitioner. Okay, let's get into it. There are different kinds of fish to choose from. The easiest way to navigate which ones to eat and which ones to avoid is to follow the government-issued advice. In this case, the Food and Drug Administration and Environmental Protection Agency, both agencies of the United States government, have provided a joint advice for women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or who are considering becoming pregnant. It also provides some guidance on the amounts and kind of fish to give children between the ages of 2 and 11. However, in this video, we will limit our discussion to just adults. The advice classifies fish into 3 categories. The categories are best choices, good choices, and choices to avoid. These categories were selected based on mercury content and protective health considerations. Fish in the best choices category have the least amount of mercury, and a pregnant woman could eat 3 servings of such fish in a week. An adult serving is defined as 4 ounces measured before cooking, which is about the size and thickness of an adult's palm. For fish in the good choices category, a pregnant woman could eat 1 serving of such fish in a week. Fish in the choices to avoid category have the highest amount of mercury, and a pregnant woman cannot eat at least 1 serving weekly. The best choices group has the highest number of species, including some popular ones such as anchovy, sardines, tilapia, cod, and salmon. Although crab, shrimp, scallop, and squid are not technically fish, they were evaluated since they qualify as seafood and placed in this category due to low mercury content. Most of the species in this group tend to be smaller fish and can be found near the bottom of most aquatic food chains. There are a lot of popular fish among the good choices category, such as mahi-mahi, grouper, albacore, and carp. Some caution is required as the amount of methylmercury in these fish is far from ideal. Hence, when you eat 1 serving from the good choices category, do not eat any other fish that week. It is important to note that you can eat 2 or 3 servings a week from the best choices category, or 1 serving a week from the good choices category. The advice encourages eating a variety of fish from both the best choices and good choices categories, instead of eating just 1 fish repeatedly. The fish in the choices to avoid category have the highest amount of methylmercury. Pregnant women, moms who are breastfeeding, and young children are advised to avoid these species completely. When you look at the choices to avoid category, you will note that the fish in this group tend to be at the top or very high end of the food chain. This is true for sharks, swordfish, marlin, and big-eyed tuna. These animals tend to eat other fish. In addition, some of these animals tend to live longer, thereby accumulating larger amounts of methylmercury over time. The advice also provides guidance on what to do when you fish or receive fish from family or friends. You want to check for advisories that cover the waters where the fish was taken. If there's no advisory, then eat only one serving and no other fish that week. The advice recommends that the skin, fat, and internal organs be removed from the fish that you caught before cooking, so as to minimize the consumption of other contaminants that tend to accumulate in these body parts. I will do a video on other contaminants that can be found in fish at a later date. A final helpful tip from the advice to pregnant moms is to avoid consumption of uncooked fish, such as Japanese-style foods like sushi. This is because of the increased risk of contracting foodborne illness due to a weaker immune system during pregnancy. Cooking to a safe internal temperature ensures that the pathogens are killed. Fish is a great source of protein, healthy omega-3 fats, iron, vitamin B12, and vitamin D, and a variety of minerals. While it is extremely beneficial to eat, knowing the right type and quantity to eat is critical to maintaining the good health of a baby. Remember, you can eat 2 or 3 servings a week from the best choices category, or 1 serving a week from the good choices category. Please note that the photos of fish meals are stock photos and may or may not represent the size of fish portions that the advice recommends. Thank you for watching. I will place links to the advice in the description below. If you have received some value from this content, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone who you think might need this information. Cheers!